Hello and welcome everybody. We're going to get started here in just a moment, and thanks for joining us on this webcast to find out everything you need to know to decide if fat freezing is right for you or not. All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's live event. We'll be starting in just a minute or two, and I'm really excited because if you're looking to lose fat quickly and easily and safely without diet, exercise, or invasive procedures, and the information I'm about to share with you will be of great interest. So you'll be particularly interested in if you're considering Coolsculpting or any of the other fat freezing treatments, because I'll be answering specific questions and be giving you a behind-the-scenes look at some of the things that you need to know before you go ahead with any treatment like this. And I don't want you to be an alarmist, and I don't want to be an alarmist, but I do want to give you both sides of the story so you can make an informed decision. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them directly into the chat box. I may or may not get to them this webinar, depending on how many of them get asked, but feel free to do that. And at the same time, you can also contact us through the website at the end if you have any other questions or comments or concerns as well. So I'm aware that I'm going to cover a lot in today's presentation, and I'm the sort of person who can easily get sidetracked, so please forgive me if I don't get to every question. However, I'm pretty sure that we'll cover most things you're going to want to know as we go along. And by the way, when it comes to getting sidetracked, I learned a handy little hint about webinars a while ago. So if you want to get the most out of this information and be sure that you don't miss something really important, you have to focus and eliminate the distractions. So if you're sitting in front of your computer right now, I know you're tempted to have multiple windows open and your phone by your side and texting and checking your email in the background or whatever else you're doing. And not only is this going to divert your attention, but it might have you miss something that might be critical for you when you make this decision. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and close all of your other windows out, right? You don't need them. Turn off your cell phone, right? And really focus on this information, because literally your life could depend on it. So go ahead and close out all those windows and turn off your cell phone, and let's actually get started here. So I want you to, so if you're thinking about Coolsculpting or some other type of fat freezing treatment, I don't blame you. You know, the stories in the media, the moments, and they're all great and they're all wonderful. But the problem is a lot of people experience different benefits, and there's another side to the story, things you won't read as much about in the media or hear from the promoters who are, advertising this technology, right? So let's speak directly with some of those. When you speak directly with some of those people who've undergone these procedures, some of whom who you're going to hear from their little snippets today, you may be shocked by some of their stories. So before we actually get started, I want to tell you a little bit about myself, who I am. Oops, there it is, right? Actually, I thought I had a slide in here about me. That's fine. I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I'm Dr. Jamie. I've been a consultant for 19 years, helping patients lose fat and live happier, healthier lives. And I'm a fierce advocate for the ethical and sustainable and responsible fat loss, right? Like, I want to do it as quickly and as easily and as simply as possible, but in a way that's going to be healthy for the long term without negative side effects 2, 3, 5 years down the road. And I get angry when I see those exaggerated, maybe even sometimes untruthful claims that so many other fat loss companies make. And so I want to, give you all the information and that you're going to need about those fat loss treatments, so you can educate yourself about it and find out the most cost-effective, safe ways to actually do it. Over the last, months, I've seen an alarming increase in advertising in the media about Coolsculpting and these other fat freezing treatments. So today I want to answer all of those questions for you and give you the whole story about them. So some of the things that I want to specifically talk to you about is fat freezing really safe, right? Is it also effective, right? Compared to other exercise or invasive procedures, right? One of the things we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the different headlines that everybody goes through right? In the essence of, this is the stuff we hear. This is what we, hear people say in regards to the giant claims that they actually make. And so I want to go through some of these claims and what's actually going to happen when we do it, right? We're going to talk about what happens if the fat comes back. We're going to talk about what happens, how many treatments you actually need, the cost, stuff like that. So one of the things that I want to show you is just real quickly, and we're going to talk about this in more detail below, but more detail, coming up. But one of the things is that the negative impacts of Coolsculpting can be huge, and I just want to show you, like, words. We can talk all day long, but this is the actual scarring and burning and negative results that have happened from Coolsculpting and other fat freezing techniques, right? So there we go. Sorry about that. I knew I had a slide in there for me, so that's the way we already covered it. I'm an author, written multiple books, seen thousands of patients, right? So do these treatments really work as well as they promise? That's some of what else we're going to cover, right? What do the fat freezing treatments really feel like, right? What's it actually like when you get them done, right? Does the fat freezing really kill the fat cells? And if so, what's going to happen when they come back, right? How many treatments do you need to see these significant results? And is it really safe? Now, we all know why we want to lose fat, right? We want to lose fat because we want to look better. It's as simple as that. But one of the things that most people don't realize is that if you lose fat in a healthy way, you're going to take care of a lot of other problems and systems in your body that aren't functioning as well as you would like them to, or you maybe just accepted that they're not working as well as they could. Like, for example, right? A lot of people, when they gain weight, their energy levels go down. So when you lose weight in a healthy way, your energy levels actually start going back up, and you have more energy to do the things you love, like spend time with your kids or grandkids, or go to, play your softball games, or, go do your hobbies or crafts or whatever it is you want to do. You actually have the energy to do them now. Most people, when they start losing weight in a healthy way, they start sleeping better, and they wake up, rested and actually feeling like they can take on the day, rather than, oh my gosh, I'm still so tired from yesterday. Right? So there's all these positive, quote unquote, side effects that happen when you lose fat in a healthy way, above and beyond just looking better. Right? So first, let's take a step back though. Right? And why do so many people consider Coolsculpting and fat freezing in the first place? And the answer is, well, based on the consultations and thousands of men and women who have visited my clinic over the last 19 years. And I know that lots of people want to lose their love handles. They want to freeze it away, right? Perhaps you're already in good shape and you have a few problem areas that you just can't budge, no matter how you exercise or what diet you do. Maybe it's things you stop from wearing shorts or make you feel self-conscious in swimwear. Maybe it's your upper arms, right? Or perhaps it's just feeling older than you want to. Every time you look in the mirror, you wish you had to, ditch that double chin or wind back the clock 10 years or something, right? So there's all these studies that also actually show like how much people actually want to change the way that they look. And all of us, no matter how skinny, right, almost all of us, and that's what these numbers point to, 98, 96%, 89%, right? We all have some problem area we would like to be better, right? So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how to get what most everybody in America wants, right? So this is a worthy motivation. Now, the truth is, right, that many cases, Coolsculpting and fat freezing do get results, right? That's why it's so popular. That's why there's good reviews on it out there. The majority of people who try these treatments experience at least some visual benefit, although nowhere, not as near as much as they were hoping, or as quickly as they were hoping when they actually go in, right? So, secondly, right, there's varying side effects as well, right? So, most cases, the dangerous side effects from these treatments are minor and temporary, although that cold comfort for those who have suffered some significantly side effects during and after the treatment, right? Now, there's also varied long-term consequences, meaning that fat loss in the treated areas is mostly permanent, but people who have gained weight after the treatment, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road, have generally experienced fat accumulation in areas that haven't been treated, right? So as I said before, Coolsculpting and other fat freezing treatments can offer some benefits, but like most things that seem too good to be true, there's another side to the story. So I'm going to break my analysis that we're going to go through into 4 different parts, right? We're going to talk about the results, we're going to talk about the risks, we're going to talk about the costs, and we're going to talk about the consequences. So first off, let's start with the results, right? So Coolsculpting and other fat freezing treatments promise impressive results, right? Multiple dress and pant sizes sometimes, right? Inches lost, although the results like this may be possible, as far as I know, they are far from common, right? Most patients experience less than half the amount that they're promised, and many lose far less than that. And while many ads claim that the results can be achieved in as little as 1 to 4 sessions, patients that I've talked to actually report needing 2 to 3 times as many treatments. And the biggest thing is, how quickly will you see these results, right? Advertising sometimes falsely claims instant results, but in reality, when you kill the fat cell from Coolsculpting, it usually takes 2 to 4 months before you actually see the results, right? And that's the big thing, is that it takes a while for the body to absorb and reabsorb the fat from the system that was just killed, right? So how the actual machine works, right? The delay in the result is because what happens is, when we actually freeze the fat with the machine, the cooled fat cells begin a process called autopsis, which just means natural cell death, and they begin to shrink and disappear, and the dead fat cells are gradually eliminated through normal body functions. But this takes around 16 weeks, right? Or up to 4 months. And not only does that mean people have to wait, 2 to 4 months to see the results, you don't even know if it actually worked for 2 to 4 months, right? So also, some people are initially happy with their Coolsculpting and fat freezing treatments. Many feel disappointed. Because why? Because there's limited results. It requires extra treatment time, and there's a long delay between the treatment and the time that you actually see the results. So next, let's talk about some of the risks of Coolsculpting. So although many who undergo Coolsculpting and other types of fat freezing treatments report no serious long-term side effects, 10 to 15% of the people complain of moderate to severe pain during and after treatment. This includes redness, squirming, swelling, bloating, numbness, localized bruising, tingling, stinging, and mild to moderate pain. And for 3 to 5 days post-treatment, these patients continue to suffer bruising, swelling, tenderness, cramping, itching, tingling pain, and temporary numbness. And for a staggering 2 to 6 weeks after the procedure, some of these patients still continued to endure this numbness, tenderness, pain, swelling, and itching that required painkillers. And even more seriously, some patients report painful conditions like hyperplasia, which is just an unintended cell fat increase that can only be dealt with surgically, right? So that being said, one of the side effects or risks of Coolsculpting is literally gaining more fat, right? So I don't want to overstate the concern. Serious reactions like this occur in less than 15% of the people who undergo the fat freezing treatments, but at the same time, most people do report significant discomfort during the treatment and the need for painkillers for several weeks afterwards. And I believe it's important to be fully informed, especially when you're making a decision about your health. And I only wish that you had been able to talk to a new mom, Jessie Hawkins, before she underwent that fat freezing treatment, because after her first child and hating the way she looked, Jessie opted for a fat freezing treatment to banish her post-pregnancy pounds. But instead of returning home to see a nice reflection in the mirror, the 25-year-old blonde has told me that now she was left with horrific scarring on her belly, which remains more than 6 months later. Right? Some of the common pictures, or some common pictures of the actual wrist, right? This is Marcella Petrosova. She was barely able to walk after her fat freezing treatment. She was left with painful open wound blisters up and down her legs and did not heal for 2 months, and the results in permanent scarring after her treatments. Right? So these are just examples, right? The picture you see there, that's a picture of Sarah and her agony and fat freezing treatments and stomach problems that she went through. It was worse than a sunburn. I couldn't stand it, sit or lie, because the movement was anything touching the affected felt like I was being poked by a hot iron. Sleeping was impossible because I couldn't bear even a sheet on top of me, right? So these risks and these problems are real, and they do happen, right? And here's a published article online that talked about how people are the statistics and how much they're damaged from it, right? There's actually a doctor, Michelle Copeland in New York City, who said that there's a further problem with Coolsculpting known as step-off deformity, right? Because what happens is that the treated area loses the fat, but then there's literally like a step that goes from the old area to the new area that was frozen, because the fat was damaged in the old area, but in the new area, but not in the old area, creating a step, if you will, right? And as a result of these complications, many health professionals question how fat freezing can be FDA approved. But the reality is, just because something has received FDA approval doesn't mean that it's completely safe. Oftentimes, there are many known side effects, right? So, for example, liposuction is one of my favorite examples of something that's FDA approved. But look at all the side effects. Like, I'm not going to sit there and read through them all, and maybe I should, but I mean, irregular pigmentation, revision surgery, swelling, wound healing, loose skin, rippling, deep vein thrombosis, cardiac and pulmonary complications, right? I mean, like literally, you can die from liposuction, but it's still FDA approved. So you can't say that the FDA approval means that Coolsculpt is completely safe. It means that it's safe enough for the FDA to say, okay, well, you can do it even though some people might die. Right? So that's what it means when something is FDA cleared. It doesn't mean it's automatically perfectly safe. It means that it's safe enough that the FDA says, okay. Right now, in fact, the FDA is prone to mistakes, right? Like just for example, comes to my mind, Merck's painkiller Vioxx, right? One of the worst cases of misapproval by the FDA that the former FDA Office and Safety employee, David Graham, actually estimated that some 60,000 patients were killed by Vioxx, right? And he points out that if this many people died in Vietnam War, but this is just from one drug improperly approved by the FDA, right? So there's issues, and I'm not saying the FDA is bad. I'm not saying, whatever. All I'm just saying is that just because the FDA approves it doesn't mean it's perfectly safe. And so, in fact, sometimes they approve stuff that is not perfectly safe because the benefits they think outweigh the risks. Right. So now that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? There's a bunch more drugs and examples, right? And you can literally go on this website that I'm quoting here, and you can quote all sorts of drugs and what's happening. And just to show you that the FDA does not mean that, oh, it's FDA approved, it's perfectly safe. Not true. In fact, a lot of times it's exactly the opposite. Right. So again, I'm not going to read to you all these. You can go to the website, you can read them. But the problem is that the FDA is not infallible because it's run by people just like everyone else. So that being said, let's talk about some of the costs of Coolsculpting, right? Most of the fat loss treatments involve a significant financial investment. Right? So while some consider Coolsculpting and other fat freezing treatments to be expensive, others recognize the value of the fast results in non-invasive procedures, saying it's the best money they spent. Well, my criticism of Coolsculpting and fat freezing treatments is not how much they cost, but how many practitioners lure clients in with misleading low prices only to reveal a true cost later. Right? One of the way they do this is by advertising the price of a single treatment area without telling patients multiple treatment areas and multiple treatments are going to be needed to probably achieve the desired fat loss results, right? A lot of patients, they feel duped by the common misleading pricing structure that categorizes treatments via areas, right? So for example, let's say you want to get a tummy treatment, right? That would be one area, you would think, right? The price would be priced as one area, but not at all at most clinics. In fact, it's common for dishonest practitioners to divide the abdomen into 4 areas, making the price 4 times what the patient, what you originally expected the treatment to be. I.e., like if they're advertising $1,500 or $2,000 per area, you think, oh, I'll go get my tummy treated for $2,000, but then you walk in, and because it takes 4 different areas, quote unquote, to treat the whole stomach, you're now looking at $8,000. All right, so my advice is to ask detailed questions, being sure to clarify exactly what you get for the money you're spending and get it in writing. Right. So now I want to talk about the most significant problems that I see with Coolsculpting and fat freezing. Right. And that's the consequences. Right. To explain some of the negative consequences of these treatments, I need to take you into the lab, if you will, and explain how fat freezing actually works. But don't worry, I'm not going to overload you with unnecessary science and mumbo jumbo, but this is critical information. So I need you to put your thinking cap on for the next few minutes. And when you're looking to slim down, it's understandable to consider fat as a villain, but fat actually plays an essential role in maintaining your good health. So before making permanent and irreversible changes to your body by killing off fat cells, it's important to understand how fat cells function. Fat is actually a form of fatty acids called triglycerides. It's created when there's excess energy from the food we eat, right? these triglycerides are then stored in fat in your cells. Now, it's more complicated than this, and I have an actual webinar that explains the true fundamental basis of fat loss, right, that you can watch as well, and what it's really going to take, because it's not just calories in, calories out. It's actually 14 different things that create your body to be in fat storage mode or fat burning mode, and it's one or the other. And again, I'm not going to get into that in detail in here, but you can find on our website the webinar that actually explains the difference between fat burning and fat storage mode and how it works. So it's not just calories in, calories out. But anyway, the body stores these extra calories in your fat cells, and the first role is just to act as an energy reserve. Now, the other thing that the fat cells do is they actually cushion and protect the vital organs. They insulate the body against heat loss and against excess heat as well, to help keep you cool. And they protect the nerve tissue that plays a part in other body processes, right? What do your nerves control? Everything, right? Your nerves control everything. And so when the fat protects the nerves, it's protecting all the functions of your body. So fat plays a very important role in our bodies. And when we're all young and still growing, our bodies continually produce fat cells. But once we reach puberty, new fat cells are rarely formed. And when we gain weight, any extra fat gets stored in the existing fat cells, right? The fat cells just simply get bigger. So after puberty, you don't get more fat cells, they just get bigger. And when you want to lose weight, the reverse happens. As you burn up the excess energy, your fat cells release the stored energy, and the fat cells actually get smaller. Now, that brings us to the major potential problem with any treatment that aims to reduce fat by freezing it, or killing the fat cells, or sucking the fat cells, or burning the fat, anything that kills the fat cells, right? There's one major problem. And what is that? Is that even though it kills the fat cell, right? Fat freezing, Coolsculpting, a lot of things kill the fat cells. You may see that as a good thing, right? Especially now that your body probably won't produce any more fat cells. But the problem is, if you go to gain weight at some time in the future, after any sort of fat freezing treatment or anything that kills the fat, what happens is, where does that extra fat go to? Now, if you follow the logic, you probably guess the fat goes into other fat cells, right? Because the ones that you killed, they're no longer there. So if you don't change your lifestyle, or if you go back to your old lifestyle again in a year or 2 or 3 or 5, the fat's going to come back. But now the fat's going to go and make other fat cells bigger. And those other fat cells, well, they might be in your elbows, they might be in your knees, they might be in your thighs, they might be in your back, your shoulders. We don't know. But like liposuction, which sucks out the fat cell, anything that actually kills the fat cell, right? Anything that actually kills the fat cell actually has you having the risk of looking even more stupid than before you went in for the technique that killed the fat cell in the first place, right? That's very important to remember. All right. So, for example, right, let's go through some of these consequences of where the fat actually goes, right? So one of the people, Christy, she said, doctor said it was a first-degree burn, and it went through serious redness and blistering and itchiness, right? And about 4 months later, I started noticing a change, right? And this terrible pooch, and there's this hard shelf, and it felt exactly where the applicator. It was just horrible. Right? So these are actual reviews of patients showing examples of how the fat actually got worse, how the problem areas actually got worse after they went through these different consequences, right? And how people are going to get, fat in their back, and fat in their back, and fat in their elbows, and fat in their knees. It happens after liposuction all the time. And since fat freezing is so new, you're going to see in the next, 2 to 5 years, all these people who went in to get their fat frozen. And now what's going to happen? It's going to come back, and they're going to look even more stupid, because they're going to have big bumps on their elbows and knees and back, and all these, shoulders and weird places in their body, right? So another one, right? My stomach was ruined. My confidence was ruined. I'd rather be fat, right? So the systems are there now. Or sorry, the problems are there, and it's not, it's not as glamorous as it makes it out to be. Now, there's an alternative, right? To get fast or even immediate fat loss results without killing yourself, going through boot camp style exercise. You don't have to starve yourself and eat nothing but lettuce, right? Only to gain every pound back when you eat something other than lettuce, right? And you can achieve these results through a treatment that is totally painless, natural, non-invasive, 100% safe, no known side effects, right? Proven and effective, right? That's one option you could do. Or You could go the risky option with Coolsculpting or other fat freezing or other fat killing techniques. You're going to get disappointed with the results, right? They're going to be less than you hoped for. You're going to spend thousands more than you first thought. You're going to feel forced into buying the extra treatments to get the modest results. You're going to get duped into spending more because you didn't realize that treatment areas are not an area that you or I would think. It's an area that the machine covers in one treatment, and you're going to suffer significant pain during and after the treatment, and you're going to experience and a lot of people, 10 to 15% experience long-term scarring, and with contorted body, lumps, shapes, bumps, all that stuff. All right. So what is the system that's going to be completely safe, non-invasive, and helpful in actually getting you the results without any pain, surgery, or drugs? And that is Vivaz, right? Vivaz helps people lose 2 to 8 dresser pant sizes in 42 days. So we're talking about less time than Coolsculpting, but more results, and we actually guarantee the results, right? So imagine looking in the mirror and seeing 8 to 23 inches of unwanted fat gone off of your stomach, your thighs being thinner, your arms are toned, your tummy is flat, right? Imagine this new you standing in front of your mirror, right, in your underwear, and imagine dropping 1, 2, 3 your dresser pant sizes in just a few weeks, 4, 6, 8 weeks, treating yourself to a new wardrobe of this season's fashions, receiving compliments from all your friends, your family, everyone in your life. And imagine having the most energy and the zest for life that you've had in years, waking up before your alarm because you're actually, healthier and feeling rested, right? Breathing through the challenges that, often would get you down during your day, right? Better moods, emotions, right? Patients are experiencing all these and more life-changing benefits from the Vivaz system because with Vivaz, what happens is we do it in a natural, healthy way, right? So some actual clients, right? Before and after, you'll notice that you can't see it so well here, but the stretch marks actually get better, right? It gives you hope because losing weight is hard, right? It's the best thing I ever did. We love it. It's been great, right? So how does the system actually work? Let me explain how it works, right? So firstly, the Vivaz Slimline system does not freeze fat cells, nor does it kill fat cells. There's no chance of getting ugly lumps and bumps later on in your life if the weight returns. Why? Because the laser-like light of the Vivaz is actually applied directly to your skin at a special frequency, and your fat cells simply become porous. They open up. Right? And when your fat cells open up, out comes the water, glycerol, and free fatty acids. In other words, the fat comes out of the fat cells and the fat cell becomes smaller, right? The fat's then carried away by your body's lymphatic system or the sewer system of your body. It just removes it naturally and your body processes the energy out of it, right? So that's exactly how the system works. Now, where does that fat actually go when it's carried out of your system? That's the amazing thing about why this is so natural, why there's no side effects, why there's no, drugs or surgery or anything like that, complications that those other things have. And the reason why is because if you'll see here, this is the natural process of where the fat goes with the Vivaz machine. And it's the exact same process of where the fat goes if you truly lived a healthy lifestyle. All right. So all you do is simply come in, you lay down on the table, you relax, and you let the light waves work their magic. And it's like having a pleasant or, a warming relaxation, meditation if you want. The treatment works anywhere on your body where you have subcutaneous fat. So meaning anywhere that there's fat that you can poke and it's squishy, the machine will work on. Right. So problem areas, stomachs, love handles, anywhere you have squishy fat in your body on near the surface, we can shrink it. Right. It's also great for stretch marks, cellulite. We can also help tighten a lot of skin, with various different things, pain and inflammation. Right. There's so many different things that we can treat, but we focus mostly on the weight loss because that's what most people want. Right, so you're going to look and feel slimmer with the repeated treatments over a 6 weeks period, and the average person loses 2 dresser pant sizes in 6 weeks, right? And that is an amount that we guarantee that if it doesn't work, we do more sessions for free until you get there. Now, but best of all, like I said a bunch of times, there's no risky surgery, painful invasures, there's no harm, there's nothing, there's no known side effects to this day, only benefits. Right? The treatment is totally safe. I mean, there's already been over 100,000 patients treated, and there's not one single recorded complaint right, of pain during or after the treatment, right? It's surprisingly affordable. It's often less than the price of Coolsculpting or other fat freezing treatments or any other form of treatment. It's one of the most affordable systems out there to do this in a non-invasive way without having to change everything in your lifestyle. All right. So what I said it a few times, but I actually have a slide here that I want to show you, right? The Vivaz is actually FDA cleared for immediate fat loss. That means the FDA has looked at it and said, yes, we think it works. And right, not only can we help with the immediate fat loss, but we can help with all those other things, and we do it with a guarantee. Right? That if you don't see the results we promise, we do more sessions for free until you get those results. Right? That's what we do. So now that you understand some of the challenges of Coolsculpting and other fat freezing treatments, you know the risks of the burning and the scars and the tingling and the tenderness and the swelling and the fat coming back in odd places in a year or two later, right? Now you know that there's an alternative though, and that's Vivaz, and it removes up to 23 inches of fat in just 6 weeks, and 96% of the people see an immediate fat loss on the first visit alone. There's no special diets, no vigorous exercise. It's non-invasive. There's no pain. There's no waiting weeks to see results. There's no health risks, right? There's no side effects. There's no concern about fat coming back in weird places later, because if the fat comes back, it just comes back normally like it did before, and you come and see us in a couple years again and get the same results again, right? And the results are fully guaranteed. All right, so we give you that 100% satisfaction guarantee, or we'll do more sessions for free until you get there. Right? So which is better? Right? To me, it's a clear, obvious which is better. Right? So now, I suppose that you're fully informed. You really actually have a couple different options for you. Right? The first one is you can go ahead and try Coolsculpting anyway. Right? That's one option, right? Another option is you can try diet and exercise yet again, right? Trying to stick to some program, some regimen, something, right? That's probably not going to work either, right? You could do nothing, right? But for most of us, you're watching this webinar because you've gained fat over the last 5 or 10 years. So if you do nothing different, what's going to happen? You're going to gain even more over the next 5 or 10 years, right? So doing nothing really isn't an option either, although it is one. Or the last one, in my opinion, the best one is you could actually do Vivaz, right? And that's why I'm so excited to be able to offer you the Vivaz Slimline system. It gives you a natural fat loss result without the extreme diet and exercise programs, right? Without all the hard work, right? There's no risk, there's no pain. You're going to lose 2 to 8 dresser pant sizes in 42 days, right? So I want to thank you for watching the webinar today. And if you are interested in getting a treatment, go to vivaz.com, right, and find a local practitioner near you. If you don't find one near you, give us a call, because oftentimes we do get behind updating the website and there are practitioners in your area, right? So you can call us at 844-4VIVAZ. Again, that's 1-844-483-8299. Again, that's 1-844-483-8299. 838299. So if you have any questions, jump over to the website. There's some more videos on there. There's more information on there if you really want. But ultimately, give us a call. Let's get you scheduled for a consultation in a local office near you. And what we're doing is we're actually giving a special for all of you who lasted until this point in the webinar, where if you call us up at 844-4VIVAZ and you mention this webinar, we'll actually bring you into the office and we'll do a consultation at no charge, where you can go in and meet with the healthcare specialist or the doctor and talk with them and let us know your goals, and we'll talk with you about our program and what it is. And at the end of that consultation, you'll know if we can help you, what's wrong, how much it's going to cost, and how long it's going to take. And you'll know all of that without any obligation or pressure. You'll then be able to decide if this is something you want to do. So give us a call today, 1-844-483-8299. Thanks a lot, and make your day great.